Hi everyone, I'm Chris Frame and that is Carnival Splendor. Come with me and let's discover what makes Carnival Splendor a unique ship in the Australian cruise market. A huge shout out and a thank you to Carnival. So this is a sponsored episode, but with all that out of the way, here I am on board Carnival Splendor, and this is absolutely fantastic to be here. First thing that I've noticed that I really liked when I came on board the ship is they have a big welcome home sign on the gangway and over the embarkation shell door on the side of the ship. It's so nice to see Carnival doing something like that to welcome their return guests back onto the ship. But for me, it's my first time. First impressions as I'm standing here on board the ship is, wow, everything is designed. It's got Joe Farcus, the iconic and famous Carnival designer, written all over it. It's from the floor to the ceilings. Everything is themed and designed. There's no flat, boring panels anywhere. It's all curved, it's all sculpted, it's all got colors on it. And look, I mean, the decor style itself might not be your cup of tea, but you have to take your hat off to them for really owning the style that they go for, that fun, quirky Carnival style that they are so well known for. And this ship, being one of the older ships, still has that very, very classic Carnival interior feel about it. It really does scream out to that fun ship era that the early Carnival ships are so well known for. So we're just walking into the ship's main atrium. It spans up to a skylight at the very top of the ship. There's glass elevators that you can see as you look up. In terms of the ship itself, it's got a lot of things that you will enjoy if you come on board the ships. I mean, there's two main show lounges, for example, which is great because it means that you've got the opportunity to have multiple different shows throughout the evenings. The one at the very bow of the ship is called the Spectacular Main Lounge, which is huge, actually. It spans over 3 decks, so it's massive. So this is the main theatre on board Carnival Splendor, and although I probably won't be doing any maritime lectures here anytime soon, I would like to say that Carnival has a really interesting history. And in fact, the company started all the way back in the 1970s with one ship, the Mardi Gras, which was a converted ocean liner, and from that moment managed to redefine what people expected on a cruise ship and completely reimagine the market, creating wonderful ships like this that are completely different from anything that had ever gone to sea before them. And so whilst I'm probably not going to be asked to come and lecture on board, I'm definitely willing to if they'll have me, and I'm sure we could fill this theatre here and tell the story of Carnival right here on this stage for the Australian cruise market. Anyway, enough from me. Let's get back to the video. The very aft of Deck 5 is the El Morocco Aft Lounge, and this is where you have the sort of smaller shows, the cabaret, but there's also comedians as well in the evenings. The center of the ship, sort of just the forwards of amidships, is the Splendor Atrium, which is that area that I was out in when I first boarded the ship. There's sort of a lot of vibrance around that area. They have the photo gallery there. There's actually a library. Then there's the fun shops, which is full of different Carnival souvenirs, but also they have a number of brands that Australian cruisers will be familiar with. Very similar, I think, in style to the shops on board the P&O ships. Then it links you through from there to various different areas of the ship. There's the Black Pearl restaurant, which spans 2 decks. Further towards the aft of the ship, they also have a second restaurant, the Gold Pearl restaurant. And that one has beautiful views over the aft of the ship with those massive windows that the ship has. There's a pub on board the ship. It's called the RedFrog pub, serving Australian beers. There was 4X Gold, there was VB, there was Tui's. So I think Aussie travellers will feel sort of comfortable there. There's a number of kids facilities on board the ship as well. There's kids clubs for the younger kids, there's ones for the teens, and then there's ones for older teens as well. They have this promenade that walks through from the Royal Flush Casino down the starboard side of the ship. And in there you have the Juice Java, Juice Bar. There's the access to the Club O2 for the teens as well. Then there is the Java Blue Cafe. Just after that, you have the Red Carpet Dance Club, which is a nightclub on board the ship. Again, very bright, very vibrant, as you can imagine. There's a sort of a quiet lounge on the port side called the Cool Lounge. It's just sort of a quiet place to relax. And the Alchemy Bar, which is a bar on board the ship where you can go up to the bartender and say, I'm feeling cheerful today. Make me a cocktail that's a cheerful cocktail. And they'll make you a drink that suits that mood that you're in. Just after that, there's actually the Grand Piano Bar, and this is quite fun because there's a sort of a circular piano key styled bar, and in the middle is the piano. And there's actually when the ship's at sea, there's a pianist who'll play there, and you can take requests and all sorts of things whilst you sit in the bar, right up close. Now, as we make our way up towards the top of the ship, we did visit some cabins and accommodation on board. I saw a balcony cabin, I saw an inside cabin. And I actually saw a couple of balcony cabins. One, in fact, that had an aft-facing view, which had a very deep balcony. And then the others, one was a balcony cabin, standard balcony, and the other one was an inside room. Look, they looked spacious enough. They looked comfortable. The theming is again continued through the corridors of the ship. Very interesting decorative panels throughout the passenger decks that depict scenes on board old ocean liners, which I thought was quite nice, but very colourful and very bright and colourful carpets. The bathrooms in the cabins actually have blue floors. Probably takes a little bit of getting used to. The balcony rooms that I saw, they had baths, and in fact, one of them even had a spa bath. So it looks like quite a high quality of accommodation that they're offering on board. Now, if we get up towards the top decks of the ship, and one of the things that really did catch my eye was how enormous the whale tail funnel is. Now, this is a huge structure and is very prominent there on the top of the ship. There's mini golf up there, but then also the whole top of the ship is sort of dedicated to fun and activities. So you have the Carnival WaterWorks, which is where the two water slides are. There's a green one and a yellow one. Now also at the very front of the ship there is the ship's salon and thermal spa. And this was really nice because it has a pretty big fitness center with views over the sides of the ship. All of the equipment in there has been replaced during the refurbishment. But then the ship also has a hydrotherapy pool. And if you've listened to the podcast before, you'll know that I'm, relatively recently become obsessed with hydrotherapy pools on ships. I traveled on cruise ships and ocean liners from the age of 11. And it was only in 2019 that I first went into the hydrotherapy pool on a cruise ship. And since then, every time. And there's thermal suites, there's a place for hot stone beds, there's a number of different saunas, and another one that has a forward-facing view, which is quite nice, that I think people will enjoy during sailways. This facility also has treatment rooms, it has a relaxation room, it has VIP suites, and even a salon, of course, if you want to have your hair done for the fancy nights on board. Now, stepping down one deck, we have a look at some of the dining facilities, the additional dining facilities on board the ship. There's the Masala Tiger, which is the Indian-themed restaurant on board. This has been relocated during the refurbishment to deck 10. It was very popular in its previous location, so they've given it a larger space. And this is interesting because it sort of sits above the Lido Marketplace, which is the buffet restaurant. And there's a well there and a staircase. The two areas kind of linked in with one another, yet they have their own distinct theming and branding and styling. Up on the top of the ship, there's the Guy's Burger Joint and the pizzeria. The menu looks pretty extensive as to what you could order as well. Forward of this area, there's a stage, there's a central swimming pool. This is an area that has a glass roof that can open and close over the top of it. These top bars, the RedFrog rum bar and also the Blue Iguana tequila bar. They had the awnings that came out, it looked like it was decorated in wood. They had a very distinct feel about them that almost made you feel a bit like you were on land somewhere getting a drink at a different bar near a pool. So yeah, it's an impressive array of amenities on board the ship. Lido Marketplace looked like a fairly standard Lido buffet offering. There's obviously food that's being cooked and put out into bain-maries for you to help yourself. This ship does have access to complimentary soft serve ice cream. They also have the pre-mixed juice dispensaries. Then by Nestle, Vitality is the brand. Now, towards the end of deck 9, there's the Mad Sizzle, which is one of their new restaurant offerings. And then the deli, which is very popular. This is where they make cook-to-order sandwiches and other things that you can buy to take away. There's a bar there as well, and they had the whale tail drinks with the straw. And then there's, of course, the Serenity Pool, which has cabanas and lots of lovely deck chairs for people to enjoy with an aft-facing view of the wake of the ship. And just to round off the offering, there's Fahrenheit 555, which is the steakhouse on board the ship. This area has also been refurbished and revitalized during the refit. And I'm told that it's quite popular when the ship's at sea for people who enjoy steak to go and have a meal here as a bit of an extra something on top of what you get on the normal main restaurants on board. Wow, so this is my first time on board a Carnival cruise line ship. And to say it's different is an understatement. But you know what? Carnival really leans into that. The whole interior is like you're stepping into this magical world. It was a completely different place. It's got Joe Farcus' design style written all over it. Everything is sculptured and designed. There's no bare bulkheads. There's no bare carpeting spaces. There's no bare flooring. There's no bare railings. Everything is designed. And although it is very busy and very, very Carnival, it certainly is owning its place in the market and makes for a huge impact when you come on board the ship. There's a few things that I just thought I should mention about the ship and the experience. Unlike the US offering of many of the cruise lines, with Carnival Splendor being based in Australia, the onboard currency is in Australian dollars. So Aussies will enjoy that because it means that you've got AUD on board and you don't have to worry about currency conversions. And also there's no compulsory tipping. So that means a much more Australian experience than what you might find on international ships that come to Australia for shorter stints. So that's the tour of Carnival Splendor. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe because there's much more like this on my channel. What do you think of the interior of Carnival Splendor? Is this the kind of ship for you? It's very different from many of the other ships in the Australian cruise market. In fact, I don't think I've seen a ship that owns its quirky style quite as much as Carnival Splendor does. Thanks once again for watching. Until next time, I hope to see you on board. But we've got a bit of a problem. My DJI mic receiver somehow managed to fall off my phone and get stuck between two panels on the Sydney Opera House, of all places. So I'm just going to try and work out how to get this out. Well, that didn't work. A very, very kind lady from one of the restaurants lent me some tongs to try and get the receiver out. All it managed to do was push it further in, and now I can't even see it anymore. So I guess that's the end of that.